Hey, Dr. V, I have a question.
Well, hey, Chuck. How can I help?
I really enjoyed our last lesson on references based on the open strings, but how do you figure out your notes between the 7th and the 12th fret? Well, that's a really good question. So let's take a look at that fingerboard diagram and see if we can find all the E3s on the fingerboard. And we'll go string by string. So we'll start with the first string. Well, that's easy, just the open string. So what did we have for our 5th fret reference? That's easy peasy lemon squeezy. Second string, 5th fret, E3. Well, I'm glad that was easy peasy lemon squeezy. So now let's move on to the 3rd string. 3rd string is a little bit different because we don't really have any references for E on the 3rd string. So what's a note that's close to E that's in our references? There's a D2 on the 3rd string. You're absolutely right. So just add a whole step from that D2. D2, whole step, E3. I found it. Very good. So now, why don't you take a similar approach on the 4th string? Well, there's a D2 on the 4th string at the 12th fret. So if I add a whole step, I'll have an E3. You're doing great. There's only one more to find, and it's on the 5th string. Well, I kind of remember that we had an E2 at the 7th fret on the 5th string, and the guitar starts over at the 12th fret. So let's see, 7 plus 12 is 19, so it should be right here. Oh, that's it. Let me check. Okay, I got it there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow, there's 5 places to play E3. And there are even more places to play that E3 if you use harmonics. You should check out Vivian and Owen's lesson, episode 23. Oh, I love those kids. I think they go to Hogwarts. I'm just a muggle. Well, maybe you haven't gotten your letter yet. Anyway, do you have any more questions about guitar? Well, yeah. So all those references were all based on open strings, right? So are there any references that aren't based on open strings? Well, that was a wonderful question. And the answer is yes. So let's take a look at some movable octave relationships. In this case, let's start with the 6th string as our reference point. I'm going to take my first finger, play any note on the 6th string, G1. Now, if I take my 3rd finger and go to the 4th string 2 frets higher, I'll have an octave, and that happens to be G2. So G1 and G2. If I keep this same shape and I move it around, I'll go down 1 fret, F sharp 1, F sharp 2. 5th fret, A1, A2. Now, you were originally trying to figure out how to find your notes between the 7th and 12th fret. Well, let's do that. 7th fret, there's a B1. At the 9th fret, you're going to find a B2. Just using this octave relationship. Now, this same physical relationship between your 1st and 3rd fingers, you can simply just move over a string, and you'd find another octave relationship. This is an E2 and an E3. And anywhere I play this relationship will still be an octave. So maybe the 5th fret, there's your D1 and D2, or C1, C2. So all of these are octaves, just like these are octaves. Now, let's move on to another relationship with octaves. For this octave relationship, we're going to continue to use our 1st finger as our point of reference, but this time instead of our 1st and 3rd fingers, we're going to use our 1st and 4th fingers. So if I play anywhere on the 4th string with my 1st finger, and I'll just go here, this is a G2, and I use my 4th finger, skipping a string, going to the 2nd string, here's a G3. So I can play this anywhere, and I have an octave. Now if I go to that 7th fret, here's our A2. Well, here's an A3. Pretty cool, huh? Now that same relationship that I have between my 1st and 4th fingers, I can just jump a string over and I'll have another octave. So this note happens to be a D. So this is a D2, this is a D3. And again, anywhere I go, these are octaves. Let's take a look at another relationship. For this next reference, we're going to use our first string as our point of origin. So I'll put my first finger, let's say on the G3 on the first string. Now, instead of just skipping over one string, I'm going to skip over two strings. And my third finger will now be on the fourth string at the 5th fret. So here's a G3, here's a G2. And again, if I move it anywhere, I'm still going to have an octave. So I'll just move up a whole step and I'll have A3 and A2. Maybe another whole step. Here's a B3 and a B2. See how this works? Now, we can keep that same physical relationship and just move it over a string. So I'll go to the 2nd string and the 5th string. And what we have here is an F sharp 3 and an F sharp 2. And if I go up another fret, I'll have a G3 and a G2. So I'm well on the way to filling in this gap between the 7th and the 12th fret. And for our final movable octave reference, we're going to use the 3rd string as our point of origin. So just put your first finger any fret. Here we go, 2nd fret, that's an A2. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump over 2 strings and use my 4th finger this time. And I have an A1. So anywhere I play this relationship, I have octaves. So let's go to that 7th fret again. Here's our D2. Here's a D1. That was so cool, Dr. V. Look what I figured out. My Shakona.
Hello fellow guitarists, I'm Pedro. Today we're gonna practice Spagnoletta, or Little Spanish Tune. You probably know it from Joaquin Rodrigo's Fantasia para un Gentilhombre. Spagnoletta is a dance first appearing in Italy in the late 16th century. It should be played in a moderate tempo.
Hello and welcome to GFAtv. My name is Rene Izquierdo. I'm a professor of guitar at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, and I'm very happy to be with you today. Today we are, I think, in chapter 8 of the left hand fundamentals. So now we're gonna talk about non-adjacent fingers. So we're gonna do 3-1, 4-1, and 4-2, descending. The same principle carries through. Hold the legato of the note that is remaining on the string before you shift to the third, and still do the weight shifting in between the fingers. So again, drop your hand, feel how this doesn't move. See, this bone here is fixed, and you just relax the one hand out. And then find your third finger, find your 4, 3, 2, 1, put them all, and then just release 4 and 2 and leave 3 and 1, the ones that we're gonna use first. So 3, 1, very slowly, remember weight transfer, remember holding the finger, remember not to squeeze against the thumb, remember not to bring the wrist out, the wrist straight, okay? Now we're gonna move to 4 and 1. Now it's the strings of the hand. To make sure that all of the fingers are aligned the same way with what we spoke before. Okay, if your hand is a little bit more tilted this way, that's okay. Just find out how these two fingers, the 1 and the 4, how do they work with each other, and then see where to put your thumb. So it actually benefits both of them. So you don't have to press more on one nor the other one, okay? So 4-1. Again, slowly, making sure you can do a little bit of vibrato, looking for that relaxation that I spoke of in previous chapters. So 4, 1, 4, 1, 4, 1, 4, 1, slowly, legato. Excellent, you guys are doing great. Very good. Just slowly. Remember, if you don't reach all the way to 6th string, it's not a problem. You can just start in the first 3 strings and until you're very comfortable. And if you still don't feel comfortable about switching strings, then do it in one single string. Stay in that string and then get familiar with the feeling of releasing the hand. Shifting the weight, not pressing against the thumb on the back of the left hand. Let the 4th finger works by relaxing rather than lifting it. Let it move away from the fingerboard. Exactly, and keep the legato. No worries at all about speed. Speed is not a necessity right now. Quality of the movement is. And now the remaining non-adjacent finger combination, which is 4 and 2. Again, 3rd finger, same idea, relaxing all the time you can. Bring it up. So now find the 3rd finger, then find the 4, and then 2nd, and then release the 3 and 1. And now very slowly, work on the legato, on the weight shifting in all of the strings. We are walking, learning how to walk. This will improve your accuracy on your hand when you are playing pieces. A great deal, actually. I do these exercises with all of my students, at the beginning of the semester. So they learn. Of course, they speed it up quite because they're graduate students and undergraduate students at the university level. But the principle of the quality of the motion remains the same for what I'm telling you. Just connect the 2nd finger, connect the 2nd finger to the 4th. Make sure you're not lifting. 4 and 2, 4 and 2. You're doing excellent. That's great. Take your time, breathe in each note. it's important to learn how to breathe and play. That will keep you relaxed. And try not to have your position anchored or moving forward. Keep your back straight and relax, your arms coming into the guitar and letting the guitar adjust to your body, not your body adjusting to the guitar position. Okay? So, to recap, we work on 2-1 combination, not adjacent. We work on 3-1, then 4-1 combinations, and then 4-2. And in the next lesson, we're going to approach the 3 finger combinations in a descending motion. Thank you for listening and good luck in your practice. Looking forward.